I would like to call our regular Board of Education meeting to order. This evening, we are lucky enough to have with us to lead us in the pledge are Mrs. Ricosa and Mrs. Schroeder's second grade students. So if they could all come up here, please. Keep coming. Okay, you know what I'm going to ask? This give me right here. How about move the other side so everybody gets seen? Yeah, so let's scoot just a little bit. Yeah, so we have a podium in a new spot now. There we go. So everybody gets to see who you are, okay? Okay. First off, I'm going to introduce everybody. We have with us Mrs. Schroeder down there at the end, and her students, Kennedy Baran. Are you waving?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, okay. All right, didn't see the wave, sorry. Stephen Collins, Kaylee Jackson. That's a good wave, thank you. Jason Jagoda, Logan Johnston, Wyatt Cackline, Charlotte Mayer, Audrey Moore, Allison Perez Mendez, Joseph Winkle, and Jaden Wright. And then from Mrs. Ricosa, that's Mrs. Ricosa right there, from her class we have Ethan Berman, Delia Procopio, I like that too, Deacon Bauman, Ruby Aarons. And also helping us tonight are Mrs. Ricosa's children, Vivian and Joseph. Thank you, guys. And at this time, if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you guys want to turn around, here's the flag. When you're ready, we'll follow.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh my gosh, that was excellent. Turn around. You guys are one of the best groups ever. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yes, and there are cookies on the way out if it's okay with Mom and Dad.
That was a treat, right?
Okay. Moving on to our mission statement. Tracy.
Thank you, parents. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, motion to approve the agenda, please. It has been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, a motion to approve the consent agenda. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Brian?
We have two hires. Susan Monarch, also by also here tonight is Andrew Blake. A week ago, we hired her as an employee benefit and payroll person. First day on the job, into the community.
Very good. Welcome. Excellent. Okay, it has been moved and supported. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, as part of our meeting. It's our True Blue moment. It's when we like to take a moment to recognize great things that are happening either within the district or within our community. And this evening, we are recognizing 3 different areas: our transportation department, our building administrators, and an outstanding safety award that we are being given by Set. So, Mr. Walsley.
October 22nd through 26th, 2018 is National School Bus Safety Week. And what better way to honor the people in our transportation department during National School Bus Safety Week. This year's theme is My Driver, My Safety Hero, which is only fitting for the drivers and the transportation mechanics and the dispatchers and the director who ensure that our students are safely transported to and from every day. It's held the 3rd week of October every year. The National School Bus Safety Week is an active, involving public education program and an excellent way for parents in our district, students, teachers, motorists, bus safety, bus operators, school administrators, etc., to join forces in addressing the importance of school bus safety, which our drivers and our transportation live and breathe every day. School bus safety starts with the transportation department, who ours is second to none in the county. So on behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to personally thank our Director of Transportation, the bus drivers, mechanics, and our dispatchers for the extraordinary efforts they make to ensure that our students are safely transported to and from school, athletic events, and field trips each and every day. For all you do, we appreciate you. When I call your name, you come up here as a board, and I would like to offer you a small token of our appreciation for what you do. So the board members are joining us in front here. So I'm going to announce them whether they're here or not, because I think the board is going to be recognized. James Jackson, he's here now with our board.
We can clap.
Terry Aspen. Sophie Simon, I don't think is here. She's one of our regular substitutes. Once a week, she has a lunch class. Deborah Dobbs. Larry Flaga. Susan Foley. Linda Grillo.
Thank you.
Lloyd Holbert. Monica LaPiccolo. Jamie Miller. Karen Montgomery. Alan Spansky. Lori Wagner. And Brian Wise.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Again, I'd just like to thank for those that are here, taking time out of your day, as well as those that couldn't be here. From the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate everything you do for making sure the buses are operational and running, to the safety of making sure they get to and from school safe, because it is not an easy job. And anybody who thinks it is, I will ask you to spend one day on the bus with the drivers.
That's right. You're all invited.
And what I am so thankful with this department is the bus drivers get to know the kids for kids and who they are. And and not just a passenger for them. That's one of their kids. You know, I'm encouraged. So again, thank you very much for all you do. The next one I'd like to honor is, in October, is National Principals Month. Each October, the National Principals Month is recognizes the essential role that principals play in making a school great. Principals, as well as our department leaders, are among the hardest working in the organization with all the other groups, and yet often not recognized for their contributions. Principals set the academic tone for a school. It's their vision, their dedication, and their determination that provides the molding force for achieving student success. Each October, the National Association of Secondary School Principals, the National Association of Elementary School Principals, and the American Federation of School Administrators seeks to honor these individuals who are unsung heroes for their tireless efforts in pursuing the excellence in education. Great schools start with great leaders, and I am proud to say ours are second to none. On behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to personally thank our administrative team for what they do to establish a safe environment for kids, establish a culture of learning for our students within the building, and ensure our teachers and students have the necessary resources to be successful in our global economy. For all you do, we do appreciate it. I'm going to repeat the same thing, so when your name is called, if you please come up to me, I'll give you a small token of our appreciation. So we'll start with Keith Bartell, our middle school principal. Anthony Bergmeyer, middle school dean of students. Becky Borwood, our high school dean of students. Andrew Castle, high school principal. David Koshin, our elementary principal. Shirley Medaszewski could not be here tonight. She's feeling ill under the weather. Heidi Napier, our elementary dean of students. Christopher Reinhardt, our Director of Athletics, Facilities, and School Safety. I'd just like to say, having a great team, working with them, whether it's administrative or transportation, makes all of our job easier and the district runs smoother. And I couldn't be thankful for having more of a good team as I have. So thank you.
Okay, and finally is our SETSEG Outstanding Safety Award.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Skip Clark.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I'm here with the bus drivers and the principals and administration staff to thank you all. Starting with the bus drivers, as a parent and community member, I had no idea what your job was like until I got into this role. So in sitting with the MSBO meetings, I understand, I thank you for all of us at setting. I'm here tonight to present a workers' comp safety award to Brian in the school board for an outstanding couple years in workers' comp. SETSAG was started in 1977 by superintendents in the commercial carriers drop public schools. So we are an insurance pool. And Richmond has been with us for 31 years on the workers' comp side and 30 years on the property side. So we thank you for that. Brian has not only worked with me on workers' comp, but also on the property. He does a great job with my recommendations, safety recommendations, and all the way down through the staff. So workers' comp consists of keeping everyone safe, and when you are hurt on the job, reporting it to the supervisors and then to our claims adjusters. So in the last 2 years, you had a total of 3 claims with very minimal dollars on that. So you guys have worked very safe, and we appreciate it. It takes everyone to be safe on the job. With that said, I'd like to present this to Brian for an outstanding couple of years in workers' comp. And the award. We appreciate it, and thanks for having me. Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Okay. Next is presentation for the overnight trip for the DECA.
Let me preface to the board. This was presented or provided to me prior to the last board meeting, and for email glitch. And when the email was received, Mr. Wagner had attended the last board meeting, but it wasn't on the agenda. So at the meeting, at the last one, I asked him that I would be putting it on this meeting, and I thought he was going to be here, so hopefully there's no emergency or anything with him. So, but DECA has been going to the Central Regional Leadership Conference, which this year is held in Detroit, and it's an overnight. This is the first time this one has come to the board. It's not a state or national level competition, it's more of a regional competition. Part of CTE requires that a CTE program participate in some type of conference or competition, and so DECA, which is the marketing and the accounting aspects of our program, they run these competitions. So the first one is this one coming up. If you recall, the last 2 years, we have sent our students have qualified to make it to the national level. 1 year they went to California to compete, and I believe last year it was Atlanta, or I might have them backwards, but they've gone to Atlanta and California to compete. It's a great opportunity for our students because it connects them with business leaders and other people within the area that they're going into. So the recommendation here before you is to authorize them. It's an overnight trip. The way DECA schedules their conference is they work or they participate in activities up to like 11 o'clock at night, and then they start the next day. So the conference registration requires them to be there overnight. And so this would be a request to you to let them go to the Regional Leadership Conference, where they'll be in Detroit, Michigan. And as I mentioned, just for the sake of being open, I did, because the registration had to be in last Friday and the timing of this, I did authorize them to register, and if we had to, we could rescind the registration depending on the board action tonight if we have need be. So my recommendation is to approve it. I will field any questions, and like I said, I will just to make sure nothing happens with your life. Let's make sure. Questions about that?
The only question I have is talking about the funds. So it's it says CTE funds or students pay part or all, and then it talks about the DECA account. So is it CTE funds since it's a conference they're required to go
We
to?
will use CTE funds because part of when we do, they're called the CETUS report. And please don't ask me what CETUS stands for because I'm still learning the terminology for CT with Mr. Castle. But every year we have to report our matching funds. We have to spend certain funds on CTE program. And this is one of those activities that qualifies for those funds. We can't count salaries, we can't count benefits, but it's the supplies, the infrastructure that we purchase for the program, the competition. So these would be based out of the CTE dollars, which would be, Tammy, do you know the CTE, it's not Perkins, the added cost dollars?
Oh, you mean 61A?
61A, thank you, which is oftentimes, we often refer to as added cost dollars. So the more kids we have in programs that complete, the more dollars we get. So this would come out of those funds.
And I would just add, talks in here about making sure when they're back that someone's going to write something that's going to go to the voice, that we make sure that we do that.
Mr. Wagner is, I think this is his third year now in the district. The numbers have been growing. In fact, he actually is teaching a full kick load this year because of the numbers that are growing in the program. So absolutely, definitely something for good publicity for the district. Any other questions?
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Next, we're moving on to the portion of our meeting which is public comment. It's the time if anyone would like to address the board, they may do so. You can come up to the podium. There should be a card that you can leave your name and number. You have 3 minutes to speak. While it is not a question and answer period, if you have a question that needs to be answered, someone will get back to you. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Come on. Is there a card there?
There's a sheet.
Good evening. I'm going to try to multitask here. My name is Debbie Burgoyes. The easy way to remember that is that it rhymes with turquoise. And I'm running for Michigan State Senate in the 25th District, which is all of Huron, Sanilac, and St. Clair counties. It also includes in Macomb County, Armada, Memphis, New Baltimore, Richmond, and Richmond Township. A little bit about me. I have been a substitute teacher for East China schools. I chaired the St. Clair County Library Village. And when I did that, I found out that there was a real low level of population that had some college, even in St. Clair County, and I understand the economic impact that has on an area. So I ran for and was elected to the St. Clair County Community College Board of Trustees, where I currently serve. My term ends in December, so I'm not abandoning ship or anything like that. I decided to run for state senator because I felt that I could do a lot more for all Michigan education and not just St. Clair County. I'm sure that I don't need to tell you that there's a lot of work to be done, particularly the funding, which has been low, let's just say, for a long, long time. So I really strongly believe that we just need to do a lot better for our future, the children and our grandchildren. I don't think it's fair that they're not getting the same excellent education that we all had when we grew up, and they're not getting the same high quality of life that we enjoy. Things are a lot tougher for them. I'm concerned about their water. They deserve to get a drink right out of the tap. They deserve to go swimming in the Great Lakes. They deserve to go fishing or hunting and eat what they catch. And they can't do that kind of stuff now. I'm concerned about the economy. The average Michigan family is one paycheck away from a disaster. That's not a stable life for our kids. Again, education and also the ethics and transparency. Michigan is dead last in ethics and transparency among all the 50 states for for education. I'm sure you know that Michigan used to be at the top, and now we're at the bottom. So I'm interested in ideas that work for everyday people and not for special interests. And again, my name is Debbie Burgoyes, and I'd like your vote on or before November 6th.
Thank you.
I'll miss out because I'm not great on details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Okay, we're going to move on to our student board rep report.
Well, I'll start off with the Lee School. Jonathan Rand, the author of American and Michigan Chillers, came in for a visit, and this was on October 17th, and 1st through 5th graders attended to hear his story and have their books signed. October 26th, a PBIS assembly will be held, and the theme is Cautious and Safety and Trunk or Treat. This is sponsored by the PTO, and it is from 6 to 7:30. October 31st, there will be a Halloween parade, and this starts at 2. And the mixed staff night is at McDonald's, and this is from 4 to 7 on November 12th. And this is where the staff will be working, and 10% of all sales will be put towards PBIS. Moving to the middle school, the PTA-sponsored Boo Bash was last Friday, and it went great. The RMS was excited to be a part of the homecoming parade, and it had a great turnout. The NJHS held an outdoor pep assembly the morning of homecoming. It was a joy to have Mrs. Shack and the marching band perform. Also, it was great to introduce the seniors competing in their last homecoming. Students loved the STEAM activity, and in this activity, they had to construct a landmark, but the challenge was they had to stay within a set budget. 7th grade science took part in the Macomb Auto Technology STEAM Catapult Lab. And fall sports will be completing by this upcoming weekend. All the conferences that were held went very well, and staff are continuing to work hard during their personal development time, prep time, and their own time after school, brainstorming and having conversations regarding standard-based grading and their own transitions. Lastly, for the high school, homecoming was a resounding success. Students and staff had a great time at the homecoming assembly, game, and dance. Blue Devil spirit was prominent at all 3 events. The RHS Interact Club participated in a campus cleanup today after school. And finally, Mr. Trent is working on establishing a green club for RHS.
And I asked you before, you said you would have a great time at homecoming.
I did, yes. It was very fun.
Good. Anything else? Is that it?
That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, superintendent legislative update.
And just to remind families out there that there's a little over a week left for the first card marking, if you can believe it. On November 2nd is the end of our first card marking. So report cards and stuff will be released shortly thereafter. I do want to echo Lexi's thoughts in terms of homecoming it took a lot of people to put that together. So I want to thank not only the staff at the high school and the administration at the high school because the homecoming dance was very successful and the students had a blast, but also the staff at the middle school, the students at the middle school and elementary school, because it truly was a community effort. And I know that every year we keep adding to it and trying to make it a little better to become a united front in terms of this is a community rallying event. I'd like to thank Pyro Joe's. I thought it was going to be rained out with the drizzle we had, but they put off a very loud show that I think made some people think that it was more than just a fireworks show, something happened, but it didn't. So everybody was safe, but it was, again, they outdid themselves, and I can't thank them enough. From the legislative front, no news is good news. I mean, obviously, the legislators are primarily on break till election. I would ask everybody, as you are filling out your ballot, whether it's an absentee or going in, please know and read about each candidate, understand where they stand, particularly about what, from an educational perspective. Public schools have been under attack for many years. And it's just now, in this last budget, that we just basically got back to where we were in 2011 with the reduction. There's research out there that shows what it takes to fund and properly support our students in the state of Michigan as well as Richmond. Our staff here have been very creative This board has been extremely creative with limited funds, trying to give our students the best education possible. Just think of what we can do if they funded public education properly. So I would just ask every person in the listening audience to make sure you understand the candidates and what they stand for, to make sure that they support public education and Richmond community schools.
Thank you. Next, items of interest from members of the board. Does anyone have anything? I just want to talk a little bit about homecoming myself. To all the administration and the staff that are here tonight that participated in the parade, I hope you truly realize what a cool event and thing that is. Being an alumni, I love seeing all the kids out there. I love seeing the staff, and so do the people who are standing on the street and are talking about the fact that our employees are out there, our kids are out there. That's what homecoming is. It's the whole community. And when everybody participates in that parade like that, it's fabulous. It really is. And if we can just get to making homecoming floats again at the high school, it will be perfect. Just let you know, Mr. Castle, that's just a little aside there. But truly, guys, though, it really is, and you know those of you that walked, when they're yelling your name and all of that stuff, it's just really, really cool. And it gives a lot of pride standing there, being a part of this group, truly. So thank you to everybody for putting it together, very much. Anybody else? All right. Next, our action item on our overnight trip. There is a sample resolution.
A motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve the overnight trip to the DECA Central Region Leadership Conference in Detroit, Michigan, as presented during the October 22nd, 2018 board meeting and included in the attached documentation.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Next, a motion for closed session.
Pursuant to Section 15268(8)(c of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, I move that the Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of negotiations. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. We are going to go into closed session, but when we come out, we will not be making any decisions.